Hi, this is Sandy Summer with Presbyterian Villages of Michigan Foundation. I'd like to take a quick minute today to introduce you to Miss Megan C. Sellers, one of our newest members of the PVM Legacy Society. Megan, thanks so much for being here and taking the time to share why a legacy and why PVM and who was your model? What was the impetus for becoming a member of the Legacy
And
Society?
thank you for that, Sandy. I'll first start by sharing for those who are watching this right now and may not know, my father is deceased. My mother is deceased. My father passed about 18 years ago. He was just 59 years young. So we can only imagine what that looks like, but very thankful that we had him for the time that we had him. Amazing man, such a huge personality, a tremendous giver, just a really big heart. He was a military veteran. He served in the Vietnam War. So he was a veteran of the of Vietnam. So very appreciative of that. And then my mother, who too is now deceased, she passed away just about 2 years ago on the Memorial Day holiday. So as you can imagine, that has shifted what Memorial Day looks like for me. And as you talk about legacy, my mom was a writer. She went through so many things in her life that could have really stopped her, but she made the decision to keep pushing. And she just was an absolute model of resiliency, perseverance, strength. Her mother got sick with cancer when she was 4, and her mother passed away when she was 10. So now she was, an only child that lost her brother when she was 3. And she was now put into the position when it was just her and her father to begin to learn how to take care of home, right? And who at 10 years old, like, wow, that's crazy. I can't even imagine. But then her father passed away when she was 25, and she went through a divorce and then met my father, in a state where she struggled. But fast forward, married to my father, they had their ups and downs as marriages do, but they worked through it. They remained married. 5 children later, me being the oldest of those 5, and I have one older sister from my mom's first marriage. They just really laid a foundation of faith for us. And it was that foundation of faith that helped me to get through their passing, my father and then my mother. And as a result of that, and my mom really leaning into writing as therapy, um, that was something that after she passed, I really wanted to carry on and make a part of my legacy. And so one of the things that I decided to do as we talk about, make a will month was, one, I knew that I did not want to end up in a space where my children were left and I didn't have a will. I didn't want unnecessary, bickering and fighting. So I made sure to take that time to create a will. And one of the things that I selected to do was, because of my role in PVM and who PVM showed up for me as during a very challenging time when they didn't even know what I was going through. I wanted to make sure that PVM was included in that will. Before my mom passed, she was actually looking to live at the village of Oakland Woods. She was planning on coming back from North Carolina. She was like, I want to be on my own again. She was living with my sister and her family at the time in North Carolina after my father passed. And she just still had drive to want more. Unfortunately, she ended up passing away before that happened. But just the fact that she wanted to become a resident at the village of Oakland Woods, which was tremendous, to me, was that, what? I want to carry on that piece of what she desired by putting PVM in my will. And so for me, that is a part of legacy, as you ask. And I'm thankful that during this time this month, as far as make a will, PVM is in my will now. Not only did I decide to put PVM into my will, but I also said, how do I keep my mom's legacy alive beyond just the will, beyond just putting PVM into my will? Um, my mom, as I stated, was an avid writer, and writing was therapy for her. And as a result of her modeling that as a part of the legacy that she left for me, and, going through some of the most challenging times in my life, I use writing as therapy as well. And so in my mom passing, I worked where I worked at the time, just amazing people. And they said, what can we do? And in that moment, I said, you know what? I'm going to start a foundation in my mom's honor. It is, and that happened. and it is the J.L. Sellers Literary Works Foundation. And this is the first year I've been building it, but they were the ones, my coworkers at the time, that support network, who gave me the first seed money in the gift, as far as when my mom passed, that I used to start the foundation. And I've been building it ever since, and I'm just super excited about it. The whole purpose of this foundation is to provide scholarships for anyone, really, young people, older adults, all those in between, to really encourage them to use writing as therapy, whether it is them wanting to write a short story, write a book, whatever the case may be. We are looking to support them, with my mom standing behind me in her transition, looking to support people who have a passion for writing, who use writing as therapy, really looking to support them in those ways with scholarships as we continue to build this phenomenal foundation in honor of my mother.
That's amazing. I think that when you talk about holding the pen and you create your own story and your own legacy, adding to that some of the things that we've all gone through, how does that impact you?
How you embrace those traumatic, challenging events can help to inform how you show up for others and model resiliency and the ability to overcome, right? And so while it was challenging to lose my mother in her transition, the reality is that I had a choice to make. And for me, I made the decision that while she is no longer here in the earth with us, I wanted her to live on. And it is through this foundation and through writing and through making space for other people that her legacy, our family legacy, will continue. So I'm super excited about the future of what's to come, as I'm getting a little emotional, but of course it's normal, right?
Yeah.
But I want people to know, take those lemons and make the best lemonade you possibly can.
That's right. Any other advice that you have for folks listening today?
I think one of the best gifts that whoever's listening to me right now, one of the best gifts that you could ever give your loved ones is the guidebook to how you want things done when you are no longer present here in the earth with them. I look at how, my siblings and I, we navigated it pretty good. My mom didn't necessarily have a will, but she had written down, because again, she was a writer. She had written down and spoken with my youngest sister about what she wanted things to look like, once she transitioned. Now, again, we didn't anticipate her to transition, as soon as she did. She was 75. She lived a great life. But, you always want people to live longer, right? Live forever. But that's just not the reality, right? And so, some pieces of advice that I would give, in addition to that, is that don't be afraid to, write a will. Um, Gift that and have that conversation while you're here so that you can make that transition for your family members who are left behind, still here in the earth to navigate the challenges of it. Give them that gift while you're here. And then that way, if you have children or a child, bring them together, have the conversation. I know that it can be challenging at times because, just talking about, a transition or, the concept of death can be challenging, but the reality is that it's part of life. We're born and we eventually pass away, but during that dash, it's important to work with those that are around you to help make that latter end easier on them, because we're going to be gone, right? I want my children to get along in my transition. So why not write these things out in a will now so that it makes them easier? Because it's already enough to lose someone, whether you knew it, whether you didn't know it, it's always challenging because you loved them and it can be hard. And so that is the advice that I would definitely give. Do what you can now to help set them up so that when you are gone and have transitioned, they can take their time to grieve that transition a little easier because they don't have to think about what would mom or dad want, right? What would my sister or my brother want? And so that, if I could leave anything, that would definitely be a piece of advice. And I am thankful for the pieces that my mom did do, but I made sure to take it a step further and actually do a will, put those charitable spaces in there, as far as organizations and things of that sort. And as a result of that, what I will say, and I'll encourage everyone, those of you that are listening and watching this, PVM is a phenomenal space to put your money. I've been able to witness, our older adults live the lives that they've been able to live in community with other older adults that really, I believe, has helped to extend their life even longer. So, if you're looking for some place to give to, I would highly encourage you looking at PVM as an opportunity to begin that giving journey when it comes time for that transition. So